3 dragons conquered a continent. 2 of them you have met. The third was the one they saw first. The old tales say her scales were silver, bright enough to catch the sun and throw it back, and that soldiers on the ground raised their shields, not against her fire, but against her light. She was no ornament. She was a warning made beautiful. Welcome to Westeros Within, where we journey into forgotten ages, hidden legends, and ancient mysteries. This is Meet the Dragons. Meraxes. Her scales were silver, not dull, not gray, but living silver, the kind that burns white in the noon sun and glows pale gold at dusk. Her eyes were molten gold. She must have looked like something poured from a crucible, beautiful and terrible and impossible to look away from. She was the second largest dragon alive. Her jaws could swallow a horse whole, an entire horse. She was not some ornament in the sky. She was a weapon of war dressed in silver and gold. Queen Rhaenys claimed her, the youngest of the 3 conquerors. She was fearless, completely, recklessly fearless. She preferred the sky to the court, the saddle to the throne, the open wind to any castle ever built. Flying was not a duty for this queen. It was a joy, and the silver dragon was her joy. The 2 of them were inseparable. But make no mistake, she was not merely a rider who loved her dragon. She was a conqueror. She accepted the surrender of lords. She burned the armies that refused. And together, queen and dragon were unstoppable. At the Field of Fire, all 3 Conquest dragons flew together for the only time in history. 55,000 men stood against them. 4,000 burned in a single afternoon. The sky turned black with smoke. An entire dynasty was erased from the earth, and the silver dragon was 1/3 of that inferno. But her war did not end there. The queen flew herself. She brought the Stormlands to heal. Lords who had held their castles for 1,000 years looked up, saw silver wings, and chose to kneel. Entire armies surrendered at the sight of her shadow. She did not need to burn them all. The ones she did burn were warning enough. 1 dragon, 1 queen, and a continent that bent because it understood what would happen if it did not. She had flown every corner of the realm. She was one of the most devastating weapons the world had ever seen. And then there was Dorne, the one kingdom that said no. The Dornish did not meet her in open battle. Instead, they vanished. They emptied their castles and let the dragons burn stone. They hid in the mountains and the sand. When the queen flew to Sunspear, the blind princess looked up and said, "You may burn us, but you will never hold us." For 9 years, Dorne fought a shadow war. In the 10th year, the queen flew her dragon over a castle called the Hellholt, a stronghold deep in the desert. As the great silver dragon circled above, this creature that had helped conquer a continent, that had burned armies and broken kingdoms, a single scorpion bolt flew upward from the walls. It struck her through the eye, through the golden eye. The bolt drove into her skull. She shuddered. Her wings folded, and the second largest dragon in the world fell from the sky. She crashed into the castle with such force that she brought it down around her. Rhaenys fell with her dragon. Her body was never returned. What happened to the queen in those ruins? No one knows. The Dornish never said. She was the first of the great dragons to fall, and her death shattered something that could never be repaired. The king's grief was volcanic. He unleashed 2 years of fire across Dorne, every castle, every town, and still Dorne did not kneel. Her skull sits now beneath the capital, silver among the black. She was the first to fall, but before she fell, she helped forge an empire. Before the bolt, there was the fire. And before the end, there was a dragon made of silver and sunlight who was so vast, so beautiful, and so terrible that entire kingdoms surrendered rather than face her twice. There are more stories to tell, more dragons to meet. Tell us in the comments which dragon you want next. Subscribe to Westeros Within and share this with someone who loves dragons. Every like, every comment, every share helps us keep going. The dragons are waiting.